Welcome to ATVision, powered by Quad Off-Road Magazine. This Motosode brought to you by MotoWorks. We're at RedBud in Buchanan, Michigan, right over the state line that separates Indiana from Michigan. This is an all-American type of racetrack. They hosted the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Tour just a few weeks ago, and now the ATVs are here. And we had great weather all weekend to host this event. Let's get into the spirit of racing at RedBud. Here at America's racetrack, RedBud! Props out to the lungs of Rodney Tomlin, one of the series announcers. Here's your series point standings. Dustin Wimmer now back on top. What a rough road it has been for both he and Chad Wienen. Wienen definitely going to need to bounce back here. Try to get some points with only one round remaining in the tour after this one. And don't forget Joe Bird and Josh Kramer and their amazing battle at our last round of Pleasure Valley. Let's go racing at RedBud, and it is Kramer getting the whole shot. MotorcycleUSA.com going to hook him up with some cash for that. As for Bird, well, that looks familiar. He's jammed in with another rider, but this time in turn one, so he is way back. So it's Kramer leading the charge on his Monster Energy Kawasaki, but bad news for everyone else. Dustin Wimmer is clear through turn one. He is up to third, and soon he will be in second as he battles with Harold the Bumblebee Goodman for that position. Not seen here is Chad Wienen. Yet another bad start for the man who led the points up until just a few weeks ago. He needs a start to run with Wimmer. He hasn't been able to get them. Wimmer makes the move on Goodman and then sets his sights on the leader, Kramer. You never know what you're going to get from Kramer. He has won races on motos this year, but he's also had some bad ones. This was definitely a good one. And look at Wimmer looking as far forward on the track as possible, trying to figure out how far do I have to go to catch this guy. Doug Gus moving up into the number 4 spot. You got Natalia and Miller looking strong on their Can-Ams. And still nowhere to be found, the 44 of Chad Wienen. Till now, finally gets in the picture, starts making moves. First got to get past that Can-Am tandem. Look at all the big air time in this racetrack. The track was prepped up beautifully. Still got hard and slick in the corners from these quads slinging it around. But in and out of the corners, it was rough. Here's Wimmer, who has now caught Kramer. The fans were fired up watching this battle for the lead. Kramer's no longer in the championship hunt. He doesn't care. He just wants to win races, and he did everything he could to make that Kawasaki as wide as possible and hold Wimmer off. Finally, Wimmer is able to work his way around and take over the number 1 position. This is late in the race. Kramer going to try to pass him back. Meanwhile, Wienen now going to work on Cody Miller, trying to get those Can-Am machines behind him and make up as many points as possible. And still a good, strong, consistent run for Goodman, who would later deal with pressure from Gust. Then he'd have Miller and Wienen right there with him. So Wienen saw a pack of riders in front and a lot of points that could be made up, but he certainly wasn't going to be able to challenge Wimmer in this one. The only rider that could, Wienen's teammate, Josh Kramer. And man, he did not let Wimmer get that far ahead of him. He kept him honest for sure. Here's Wienen, eventually gets around Miller, with the tally still in tow. Time running out here. Check out this shot. Wimmer and Kramer headed toward LaRocco's lead. There's a move. Wienen gets the pass on Goodman. That'll move him into the top 5 with the Can-Am still chasing, but he's not going to have time to get Gust or Kramer and Wimmer, who were out front and gone. Checkered flag is out. Another win for Dustin Wimmer. What an amazing comeback. Just a few weeks after shoulder surgery, this guy started winning races once again. He continues to streak. There you see the rest of the top 10. Let's go to Krista Watson with Josh Kramer from Moto 2.
Josh, you had a fantastic run that first moto, but you still came out in second. What are you going to do to get the win this time?
Just take a little bit different lines. I got to look it over real good on the sight lap. I'm sure it'll be a little bit rougher this time, and just running as hard as I can, try to keep it out front.
Wish you luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, there's the 1 and the 44 lined up next to each other at the start, but they sure haven't been lined up next to each other after the start in any of the last couple of motos. And here we go in Moto 2. This time it's Goodman going to nail the whole shot. He was nearly there in Moto 1. He gets it here in Moto 2, but it's not long before he goes wide and quickly is challenged by Wimmer. And there you see Chad Wienen mid-pack again. Bad starts, telling the story for the Kawasaki rider. The Bumblebee was not going to just let Wimmer by, and Wimmer also had to deal with Kramer and a much better start for Joe Bird in Moto 2. So these four try to check out on the rest of the pack. Here is Bird back with a vengeance on Kramer. Now remember, these two came together in the last corner of our last race at Pleasure Valley, and they both incurred penalties. Kramer for the actions of his crew, and Bird for the actions of slapping Kramer in the face. So a lot of people were wondering if there would be some repercussions, but they both rode clean, hard races, and you would not have been able to know there was any bad blood between the two coming in the way they rode. Kramer gets around Goodman, then eventually Bird is able to do the same thing. Bird didn't get to show what he had at Moto 1 when he got tangled in Turn 1, but in Moto 2 he was solid. Look familiar? Here's Chad Wienen coming through traffic, trying to make passes. We'll go back to Kramer and Bird duking it out for the number 2 spot. They hooked up and pushed the pace. They didn't slow each other down. In fact, they got so much faster that they got back in touch with Wimmer, the leader, and we had another classic in store just like we did a few weeks ago in Pennsylvania. Look at them working those machines on the off-cambers, trying to weight the uphill peg in sections and the outside peg in others to get maximum traction. Chad Wienen bearing down another impressive charge, but he's not going to be able to catch this top 3. They had made a breakaway from Goodman. They're going to settle it amongst themselves. And the fans at RedBud, they follow this series. They knew what they were in store for. Any of those 3 could win this thing. Here is Wienen challenging Goodman on yet another march through traffic. Doug Gus not that far in front of them. Wienen just trying to get into the top 5. Go back to our leaders. Kramer and Bird still duking it out. We said racing each other clean. Here's John Natale leading Doug Gus. 2 veterans with Chad Wienen in their rearview mirrors. Wienen is going to have to start getting aggressive, start moving guys out of the way. He makes the pass on Gust. That's a few more points for the 44. Back to the leaders. Look at Bird closing in on Wimmer with Kramer in tow. A 3-rider shootout for the overall and the moto win. Bird, he's the spoiler in this after that bad first moto, but Kramer knows if he can get around Wimmer and gets the right brakes, he could win this thing for the day. So here they are drag racing through the Millville-style sand whoops that they trucked into RedBud. The Ritchie family's got to be awfully proud of the size of the crowd that came out and the way their racetrack shaped up here in Michigan. But proudest of all, the Rockstar Makita Suzuki ATV racing team, who sees Dustin Wimmer win again, a 1-1 performance that's going to further extend his championship reach. Wienen only able to make it up to 5th. Well done by John Natale to hold him off for 4th. That's your overall Wimmer, Kramer, Wienen on the podium, and it really shakes up the points as well. Let's talk to our top 3.
Dustin, this win brings you so close to a second championship. I know that from our calculations, you're about 8 points from sealing up the championship. How does that make you feel?
I feel great. Just when I get through the next race or next moto, and be safe and train between here and there. Be safe. Just trying to not do anything stupid.
Josh, at Pleasure Valley, you were so close to the second place. I'm sure you could taste it. How does it feel to come out and be able to bring out the second place this weekend?
It feels great. A little bit of bad luck there at Pleasure Valley. I'm not really happy with the way things turned out, but I'm happy with the way things turned out this weekend. My Kawasaki KFX 450R was working great. Dustin ran a great race. I'm glad my teammate Chad got up here on the box with me. Kawasaki had an overall pretty good weekend.
Chad, I know this day didn't go like you wanted it to. You didn't get the finishes I know you like to get, but your consistency paid off and you did get up on the box. Are you happy with today?
Yeah, obviously I want that championship, and every single point counts, but all in all, at the end of the day, for the weekend that I had and the starts, and I couldn't be happier to be up on this box. The KFX 450R is working great. The Monster Energy, just everybody really backing us this weekend, and ITB tires hooking up, Fox Shocks, friends, family, just my dad really pushing me along, and just having a good teammate like Josh really makes things easier, and just getting this end of the season monkey on my back and push towards Loretta's, and you never know what can happen.
Well, we know this. Wimmer has a 45-point lead if he finishes 16th in one moto at our finale at Loretta Lynn's. He is your champion for the second year in a row. Our next Motosode will be taking your questions Wednesday, August the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the final round of the tour, that's August 16th at Loretta Lynn Ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. We call it ATV Dirt Days. This all brought to you by MotoWorks. For Krista Watson, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us for ATVision, powered by Quad.